already played out, if that's the one he's talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So on the RSI, it has a lower low, but a higher price.
Higher on the indicator, lower on the. So we're measuring tops because we're measuring bearish continuations, and that's also how we measure bearish reversals, is by using the tops. But when we're measuring bullish patterns, we're looking at the bottoms. And as you can see, this one's much stronger because, you know, look at the length.
So when you guys are doing lines and stuff, it's pretty much just you're going off the highs and the lows, right? That's where you guys are putting your lines at.
Yeah, just keeping it real simple. Peak to peak kind of thing.
So when you see these types of, what would you say that this particular sign was? You said a bullish continuation.
Yep, the top one is a bearish continuation.
And how long do those usually last?
I don't think there's a usual really. It just kind of, when I'm looking at reversals, I'm kind of thinking of things like an oscillator. Like the market's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to basically oscillate. So, you know, whenever, like, I'm kind of like thinking of the wave trend from the market cipher B. Like it just like it crosses the 0 point, it's going to have its momentum and its time up here. Depending on what time frame you're on, you know, you could kind of just wait for that reversal, and if you have an idea of where the macro trend is going, you can kind of prepare for that. And since the RSI is more of a leading indicator, you can just set yourself up with that reversal, and then, you know, have your entry point whenever it reaches or when it reaches like the neckline. You have a reversal for a short, or vice versa for the long position.
The last like month of Bitcoin was bearish continuation on the daily chart.
And is that what this is, the daily chart on what we're looking at? It's got the little icon on the left. You can't see what it is.
I mean the last month of until it reaches high. So when Bitcoin hit all-time highs, it had been in a bearish continuation for like a month. So they can last a long time.
So do you guys just set back, and are you doing like micro scalps, or are you just doing more of a swing trades?
I guess I mostly just leverage trade divergences.
Yeah, I don't really have a set thing. I just kind of like trade how I feel for the day.
Is there any altcoins that you guys are fans of?
I personally only trade Ethereum, pretty much.
I am. He must like CryptoFace too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no, I love CryptoFace. That's how I learned everything. I just like watched old videos, scrutinized everything that he said. For like 3 months, I disappeared into a dark hole, and I came out with market cipher knowledge.
Yep, me too. And yeah, I haven't learned more from anyone else, I don't think, but I'm further.
To me, like in understanding what's going on, like you gotta put in the work though. People are just like buying and selling on the red and green dots, and you'll get wrecked.
Yep, it's not a one trick pony, or it's not gonna unicorn you into greatness.
So you guys aren't doing like going on Qcoin and following trends of like things that are up, going up to the, 40, 50%, hopping on, selling at the top and doing that route?
I used to try to do that, but I think that kind of lies in what I call, like, instead of buying the rumor, selling the news, it's like you're buying on the news, right? Because it's already up if you wanted to really get on it. But if you're trying to short it or something, like, that's an opportunity you could keep an eye out for, is those top performers that are S coins that indefinitely are probably going to drop with the market.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, and if you go to quantifycrypto.com, you can see Rain Man's entire portfolio, and you can see if it's green or red. Or I always joke with him. I'm like, dude, I was checking out your portfolio. I went to quantocrypto.com because he relies on that a lot. Like when he sees something very red and very down, he's like, all right, let me look at this. Should I buy when it's down? And I think it's a decent strategy.
I think there's a website called Crypto Bubbles or something like that, and I think Drew uses it. It's more to find out the sentiment. So if there's like a big green bubble, the uptrend's going, or you can kind of go out for those.
Yep, no, they're very similar. The crypto bubbles, though, like, oh man, that can make you nauseous. I'll put the quantified crypto in the general chat if anyone wants to look at it. Kind of interesting. It puts everything in squares, makes the biggest gainers and bigger squares.
Does anybody know anything about AMP? We got someone in the chat, and I actually did the same thing with Qcoin. I got on with AMP, let it ride up, and then I sold. I don't know if you guys know anything about the coin and the fundamentals.
I'm checking with Rain Man. He's deafened right now, but I just sent him a DM. I think he's familiar with it, so we'll see if he can jump in.
I think that Maddox got a pretty good edge, like I said. I think a lot of people kind of, they remember it's under $1, then went up to $2, and it just seems like it's strong. If you're going to do something, maybe throw a little bit in there while the storm kind of goes on.
I don't know if anyone's watching this anymore, but yeah, if you would have taken that long play, you would have been up 22% on a spot position.
Beautiful.
When you say spot position, can you kind of elaborate on that with calls and spots?
Oh, I just mean, I don't, I just mean no margin.
Yeah, it's just like a non-leveraged position, so it just means buy and sell. The classic normal trade, right? No leverage. So that's spot trading. Margin trading is when you're using leverage, which is a completely different kettle of fish, yeah. But it's still, you still like take a long position and then you close the long, or you take a short and then you close the short. Like it's still, you know, trading in that sense. It's the same, you know, you're using the same indicators, you're using the same technical analysis, whether you're going spot or leverage. It's just a different way to amplify the trade, like put more power behind it. So it's a powerful tool, but it can be very dangerous as well if you don't know how to use it properly. Or
what would be what would be considered a call then?
A call is going long, and then a put is going short. So a call is what a bull does, and then a put is what a bear would do to make profit off a move. And by the way, trading, when you're a trader, you are a bull and a bear. It's just you're basically you wear a bull hat when the trend is going up, and then you wear a bear hat when the trend is going down. So you're like a mutable. You're not a fence sitter, but you're just basically calling it how you see it, like depending on what time frame you're looking at and what the trend is doing. Like you're both a bull and a bear. Like there's no bias either side. You know? Yeah.
A blend bear.
Yeah.
I forgot what Discord that we were in, but that girl came in and she was talking about shorting, and all of the like Doge nationalists like lost their minds.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
I was saying that. Don't tell people to short Doge.
Hey, Rick, are you watching Free Trial on the stream you're sharing?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, because I was like, oh my God, Rick is doing the same RSI 125 that Free Trial is doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's interesting. I think you might have been creeping earlier, Rick, or maybe it was just before
All the time,
you woke
man.
up.
All the time. Yeah,
But yeah, what do you think of that What do you think of that 125 RSI that really follows the price closely?
Yeah, I have never heard of that, but that's cool. I'm interested to see how that works out. 125 length, is it? Instead of 14? Yep, cool.
If you guys want, I can pull up the 14 so you can see what it's like, and it's really cool. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
and Rick, what he was talking about earlier was like you can really see divergence very easily when you do the RSI out to 125.
Cool. Yeah,
What's
I like
the
that.
frame on- what the chart that's streaming right now? What's the time frame on it?
-5.
Kettle, have you just called Rick out? Is this Rick stream is a lie? Like he's just been doing a talk over on someone else's charts?
No, I looked at Rick's Discord stream and I was like, okay, first of all, this is an Apple computer and it looks exactly like what Free Trial shares. So I think it's interesting that I'm like, oh, what's Rick sharing in the Discord, and he's sharing Free Trial stream.
Yeah. So if anyone ever wants to share something, I can put it up on the stream so that YouTube can see what the person talking is referring to. That's the whole point of it. Yeah.
So Free Trial, are you ready to be YouTube famous and have your stream up? Because you shared this with us earlier. No, and I thought it was amazing. Like looking at this different RSI.
Yeah,
it's a great tool.
I think this is the one that I fall on. I've tried a lot of different indicators and I'm still learning more, but I have always thought that this one is the most back testable for the type of trading that I personally like to do. So
I think we might have to call you Rick 2.0.
Nah, just Free Trial 1.0.
free trial 1.0.
Yeah. Free Trial Alpha.
Yeah, you guys. I don't like stuff that's too complicated. Like I think it's easier to just look at like one or two indicators, and like you were saying, analysis paralysis is such a common thing for especially beginners.
a couple of months ago, I got criticized by someone in the YouTube chat calling me a noob because I had a very minimalistic chart. Like I was only like explaining RSI at the time, and like there was a few trend lines here and there. It's like, this guy's a noob. Look at all the colorful lines and stuff. Like this guy has no idea. That was the criticism of me. I was like, okay, fair enough.
Okay, well, I mean, if that's a criticism, Rick, can you share what free trial is sharing? Because I think it's pretty interesting. It's a little different than what you do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's up on screen right now.
You also do the voiceover as a woman. That'd be great.
No, but I meant sharing it on your YouTube.
Oh, what do you mean? Like, yeah, it is. Like his screen is being broadcast to YouTube right now.
Oh, am I behind? What the hell's going on
know.
with my TV?
If you just click live.
I always have your I always have your stream on my TV.
Oh, I see. And it's like maybe falling behind.
Oh no, there we go. We're good. Sorry, my bad.
All good. All good.
Hey Rick, is it true that Australia is it's not real? Or I've been hearing a lot about that you guys are literally not real.
Yeah,
like
that's
the whole
one of those,
island is like not out there.
That's one of those kooky conspiracy theories like flat Earth, you know, with no grounding in anything. It's just a fun conspiracy theory that people like to talk about.
Australia's just a warehouse in Arizona.
Yeah.
Kettle, no wonder your trades have been going bad today. You've been watching the stream. You've been watching the data from 2 hours behind.
No. I've been on time, and I haven't actually looked up at my TV in a while, so I'm all good. Yeah, it was a time zone issue, but we're good.
All good.
All right, I feel like free trial is just setting up, and then he's going to talk us through this.
Random question: what pets do Australians have?
Drop bears.
Yeah, drop bears. If we can befriend them and tame them enough to where they won't kill us, yeah. Other than that, yeah, cats and dogs. Same as you guys, really.
Rick, if cryptocurrency gets globally regulated because the secret of drop bears got out from Australia, that would be the worst.
I mean, you guys can ask questions. I'm just setting up a couple plays here, but if you want to talk about the first one, it's basically a really big classic bullish reversal divergence on the RSI. And I mean, I can see it for sure on the RSI 14. I'm on the 15-minute, by the way, for EOS. Doesn't matter what the currency is, it's just a divergence. And as you can see, our indicator, it on the low peaks here, we're measuring bottoms for bullish divergences. We're seeing a higher low, while the price action is making a lower low. So that right there is telling us that, okay, time for the trend reversal. Just watch for the next wave for an entry, and here we have it, because we're getting higher lows, not technically higher lows, but it's equal lows, and that still classifies as it's reversing bullish. So we have an entry position, enter here, ride it up as far as you want, really. I mean, the RSI is so far low that you can just watch it go up and you don't have to worry about price action. So we ride it up here, for instance.
So you're running on the 15-minute chart.
Yeah.
So man, it's the first time I've seen someone chart anything out like that, and it looks freaking genius.
Yeah, well, and Buck, the RSI, that middle RSI that he's showing is set to 125.
Yep, the bottom one is just the classic stock RSI 14 length that you pull up when you type RSI, and bam, that's it. The one on top here, all I do when I pull up RSI, I go to these settings right here, type 125, I changed my RSI color so it's instead of purple, and then I disable the background, so I just look at this middle line. That's all. And then when I'm doing this, I literally just pull this up a little bit, and I try to, depending on where I'm zooming in, I'll just get it to resemble price action as much as I can. That way I can spot really the divergences that I want very easily. See this one? That's a classic bullish reversal. You would have had, I mean, right there. You would have had that position.
I've watched and gone through so many different charting things, so many strategies. So the indicator that Rick ran us all through earlier on, I've just gone for a strategy on that. This is the first time I've seen anything like this.
No, and it calls out the divergence so clearly. That's why when he showed this earlier and we just got the chance to see it on the YouTube, I'm like, yes, show this, because this is amazing.
Yeah, I love this.
No.
This is really cool.
No, cut the stream. Stop sharing it. No one else should know.
Yeah, and I mean, I can direct you to the, where I'm learning this from. It's literally from one dude, or two dudes, but one dude, and it's a channel named Kite Crypto, and he explained it exactly how I did. I mean, I just repeated what he explained it like.
So, like, there's so many different strategies around working off of different indicators and things like that. So, I say Rick went through Fu Manchu's. There's a guy called Trade Pro, and he throws up strategies and stuff, and then he backtests them to like 100 trades, and then runs through them. He's running like a score sheet of indicators and strategies and things. And I've seen lots of different styles, but nothing as clear as that.
Yeah, I mean, how much more clear could it be, right? I just think that's what you should be putting your weight on, not something that you have to really guess a lot,
So this is the whole thing. Like, oh man, that's yeah, I've got to play with that.
Yeah, man.
Depending on your stop loss, if you would have just entered right here, if you had a 1% stop loss, you maybe would have gotten wicked out once, but that doesn't matter. Like, my max stop loss is like, I'll get wicked out a couple times. It doesn't matter if I'm at 1%, because like, dude, the returns, look at this, is a risk to reward ratio of 23. Like,
okay, again, so the strategies I've been looking at are 1 to 2% risk to reward. That's mental. That is.
I'll be back in 15 minutes. All right. So you've got the controls, man. You're at the steering wheel. Free trial.
All right.
Mate, that's so.
Hey, hold on, Buck. Free trial. Do you mind doing TA for another 15-20 minutes? Can you handle that?
Sure. I will just warn anyone that I'm not, super experienced or anything, but.
No, and the inside joke there for everyone on YouTube is, free trial gets going like this, and you just watch him, and he's a wealth of information. So there you go. I set up the stage for you, free trial.
But it's a really interesting. Like, I've not seen anybody show that kind of charting before.
Yeah, I mean, when I was starting out, like, I obviously, thought I would just be able to jump into it and, oh man, I see the trend going this way. Like, they all told you trend is your friend and this and that. And man, especially with, when things are volatile, you could just get wrecked depending on like your leverage and stuff. I mean, I was not into spot trading right away, so I got to learn the hard way,
I think everybody that's got into crypto, as you get wrecked, it's part of the process. Like, I made money, I got wrecked, I then got into futures. Oh man, I got wrecked.
All right. So Buck, hold on. So free trial, do you think you can maybe pull up like a coin you're not as familiar with and pull up this RSI 125 and just kind of on the fly give us some TA you see from it? I mean, you're prepared for this, so you could say, "Oh, here's what this is, here's what that is," but maybe show how it works in real time by pulling up a random coin.
Yeah, name one.
Well, I mean, I've been just talking about one all day long, and I know you've been watching it, but show us how this RSA I-125 kind of applies to it. And for everyone watching on YouTube, Free Trial and I talk about divergence all the time. We've had a lot of conversations about it. And Rick's Discord, we've had a lot of debates about what divergence really is. And Free Trial and I've showed him how I draw it out versus how he draws it out. And in the end, the result's the same. But I think this RSI 125 makes it so much clearer and easier to see. So that's what I kind of want to pull out here.
Can I throw out a random coin for you guys to do?
Yeah.
If you're cool doing comp, COMP.
No, that's fair. That's neutral because I wanted to see one. and I know that Free Trial has been watching one, but yeah, so that's fair.
Are any of you watching the YouTube chat? Because Cleo's about to hunt you down because she wanted one big time.
Hold on, stay on one.
Do one first. No, we can't upset Cleo.
So we can see that the indicator is making lower lows on the, or sorry, lower highs. But the price, it makes a double top. So.
Yeah, can you put a RSI 14 down at the bottom just so we can see the difference and how hard it is to spot there?
So see, yeah, you can see
Yep, that peak there kind of ruins being able to see that divergence.
That's a setup for an entry right there. You see the higher highs on the price, lower highs on the RSI 14. So you see a macro reversal, right, on the 25. See how it just tops out there, and then I mean we could have shorted right there because we see the lower highs, right, and the double tops right there. But I'm pointing out this macro right here that, you know, if you guys really wanted to see like where things might be going, this one doesn't look too bullish, but.
All right, moving on. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, what's that other one?
And I guess Free Trial, like for people watching on YouTube who don't even know what the hell RSI is, are you comfortable giving a little explanation of that and what divergence is? No.
Yeah, dude, I'll just use it. It's a tool that I understand from where I came from, and that's an audio engineering perspective. I'm used to looking at waveforms and oscillations, and going into the crypto market, not even, you know, having a stock background or anything like that. That's the most I can resemble and relate it to, and that's, you know, how I see things. So, you know, when I see these reversal divergences compared to price, it's like, I don't have to look hard. This is stuff that I've been used to looking at for like 15 plus years.
But yeah, and so for anyone who's like new to crypto, RSI is relative strength index, and basically it kind of represents how much buying or selling pressure there is, and then you can compare that against the price and see if price is moving based on that pressure. And so if you get oversold, then price needs to drop to kind of even both of those out.
That's exactly how I would explain it. Is I use it as a tool for momentum, and I want to see that how the trend will be shifting, because the way that I'm looking at RSI when I'm looking for divergences or spotting for divergences, I'm looking for that pivot point. I'm looking for when things are turning around. And I don't know if I said it before, but I feel like RSI is the most leading indicator versus most of your moving averages are going to give you exactly that. They're going to read the average of the history of things, where this is indicative of pressure that is happening. So when things cool down, that's when we have price action cool down. So it's a leading indicator that you can use to spot real divergence.
And that's the kicker, dude. Like we've got lots of indicators. We all run indicators, but they are historic indicators. We get the action as it closes, and we make our predictions on those endpoints. But like as Kel said, the RSI, I look at it, when I'm in a long or a short. Once it's the RSI is really topping out, it's breached 70, it's hitting 85. That's when I'm looking for my exit. But looking at the wave patterns and that trend as as you did in a sound oscillation, like those patterns, it just makes sense.
Right.
All right, so what was the next coin someone wanted to look at? Oh, geez, hold on. Before we get in a free trial wormhole of explaining everything. Yeah, comp, there we go. Oh, and this is good. You've got it already drawn out.
And kind of a little bit like predicted, I guess.
Here we go. Okay, everyone in YouTube, buckle up. Free trial will take you on a TA ride, and it may be long, but it is worth it. Trial and I have been up until like 4 or 5 in the morning several times. We've alternated taking naps, exchanging TA, and I mean, just the information this guy can bring is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a risk to reward ratio of 100.
I mean, that was all I was going to say. Look at the P&L. Look at the P&L.
It's a 1% stop loss if you would have entered, but yeah, I didn't take this trade. I was just projecting on it because I don't do comp trades. But yeah, if you would have tried to ride the 5-point Elliott wave all the way up to wave 5, then.
All right, hold on. So for comp, can you just start from an RSI level and then get into the Elliott wave?
Yeah. So let's see. Well, let's look for this long entry, right? So I mean, here's like a macro long entry, ABC entry, but I'm gonna draw a better one if we really want.
Sorry, Dave. What time frame? Just so that people can.
15-minute.
So you always run the 15?
Not always, but that's my middle ground. I'll go down to 5 to scalp, not scalp, but scope an entry maybe. But typically, I get everything I need with my RSI set to 125, and then I just nudge it up to price action. That's, as you can see, really all you really need. Like, what more could you ask for? And that's the whole.
Yeah, this is blowing my mind. This is so good.
Here, let me zoom in here. Yeah. So if you would enter this long entry, you wait for the neckline. If you wait for A, hold up 1 second. The rule is basically as long as you're above the A, you're to long. If you're looking for a long.
Yeah, well, in free trial, I think for YouTube purposes, I don't know if everyone knows what, ABC is.
It's literally, I'll explain it this simple.
There we go.
So you have A, it's a downtrend. Okay, we're talking long positions. Like we're looking for long positions. So we're gonna go from our A wave is gonna go downtrend, our B wave is gonna go uptrend, and our C wave is gonna go downtrend. So when we have that, we're playing this reversal divergence. We're looking for our ultimate entry. So when we have A, there's our entry. So I'll draw, or I'll just put our calculator up here. You could ride this thing forever, right? I don't know if you can see this.
Well, and that's why you've got your ABC waves, you've got your Fibonacci on there. Like this started from an RSI conversation, and so maybe if you're comfortable showing how to draw the fib, how to draw the ABC, like you're adding things to the equation to teach us. To start from a new chart.
Let's see here. Where were we? So we got basically, we're playing a long position. We're trying to find that right here in what is it, the 22nd, 20th, or whatever of June. We see the RSI coming down from this point. We wait. We're patient. We don't want to FOMO. We look at this. We might catch a long entry off that, but that's smaller if we're looking at a really big. We're looking at this one specifically, right? So we see this macro dip. We might be able to get a play off that for a little while, but as soon as this is cooling off, I would exited that. Because as we cool off underneath the 50, to me that's like, okay, we haven't really quite had enough momentum to just shoot up. So we got another one right here, bam, but that didn't really come up any higher than the previous RSI high. So we know that we're gonna probably continue further down. We make a lower low, lower low, lower low on RSI, lower low on higher price, or on the price action. It's lower highs. We start getting some reversal here, but we're not necessarily so deep on the RSI compared to that previous hit. So you could probably speculate if you read RSI, it's stronger when it goes towards the negative or positive, away from the neutral zone. So when you see really big reversal and you're trying to spot that, you're looking for a pivot. So when you nudge the indicator right up to the price action, and that's just my way of doing it.
No, I like it. So it's proportional in general. Then you can see what really jumps out as not proportional, not following the trend.
So right there, if we would have looked at this kind of rise and fall, it's definite that we're gonna make lower lows as soon as it gets to this point in price action, because it's so far down underneath the neutral. It's like, okay, now we're reaching some good potential zones for longing here. So when I'm looking for that, I'm looking for an ABC structure that I can safely enter on, and I'll draw that right now. See, I already drew this reversal divergence. This is class B reversal divergence, where you have about an equal lows, and then lower lows on price action. So what we're looking for an entry, we got downtrend A, uptrend B, downtrend A.
Okay, and what indicator was that you got from the toolbar?
So you go over here on the side where all the patterns are.
Yep.
And it's Elliott correction wave ABC, and you can just look at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or A B C D E. Those impulse waves or the correction waves. Like you can just use those, you know, like whatever type of pattern you want with connections.
Yep.
However,
Yeah, and you talked earlier today about you like ABC.
Because when I started studying the Elliott wave theory book, that kind of started allowing things to snap into place with entries, and yeah, man, you learn the hard way, like when you FOMO in, but when you have actual setups, then it's like, oh man, like now I actually have like a back testable strategy. Like I'll go and spend hours and hours and hours before I really start to put a strategy where the money is, you know, like, and man, if it still doesn't play out, I'm tossing the thing. This is the most, you know, this is the most I can really put my money on. Like I spot it, I enter, and I'm on the 15-minute. This thing, you know, it woof right past it. Like I would have not even gotten stopped out. You know, I could ride it down there. Like I would have probably exited if I saw, you know, this coming. However, if my stop loss isn't that tight, and I, you know, maybe saw for the long term.
Yeah, and free trial, when you talk about getting stopped out, that's because you're trading on leverage, right?
Yeah, I'm on high left, like I'm
Okay, no need to show off, but for people who are just spot trading that are like, what do you mean stopped out? That's what I'm trying to clarify here.
I'm showing you guys how to do like stupid stuff on 30x basically. So if you want to go that route, you can do it, and you're not putting any more risk in, you know, like
well, and that entry point would have been a great spot trade entry point.
Yeah, it would have been a great entry for anyone. And that's the whole point, is like if you can get the best entry point, you know, and spot that right when it happens or even before it happens so you can get ready for it, then bam, dude, it's like it doesn't matter like what you're doing. You spot the right play, you're good.
Hey, we got a super chat for Rick, and it's from John Smith. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him from Tame, but
John Smith. Yeah.
Smith,
I'm on
bro,
my phone, by the way.
bro. He says that Doge to take off August 1st. What are you thinking is going to be on August 1st? What you're seeing on the chart there?
Okay, but I just see spot, like from the C spot run books. Is that Doge? Is that the like YouTube crypto sign for Doge?
Yep.
I don't know.
Doge is, or John's all about the Doge, so I know that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. God bless John Smith. He's a legend.
He's a whale.
Yeah. No, and Ricky, you got the right screen sharing right now. If you're going to ask anyone what's going to happen in August, I feel like free trial's the guy who's going to be like, hold on, let me see.
Yeah, totally. I want to get into I want to figure out time Fibonacci's, because there's not only is there price Fibonacci, there's also time as well. I just have never looked into it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Oh, free trial, wrong answer, bro.
I know. I want to follow up on what Rick was saying. I look at price action and I follow the trend and I make a trade. You know, I'm money-ish. I'm not bullish or bearish. Shout out Ryan Mata.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, good call.
34 risk to reward ratio right there.
And it's interesting. I hope everyone watching on YouTube kind of saw how you can see the divergence a lot clearer with that RSI set to 125, because it's something free trial and I have talked a lot about in this Discord. We've kind of compared how we see it, and I see it a totally different way than he sees it, but now that I see the way he runs his RSI, like it just makes so much sense to me. So it's worth looking into. Just and the way I test RSI and divergence is I just pick a coin that I'm not even in on, and I look for divergence and go, oh, I see divergence. Price is going to go down, and then I watch and see if it's going to go down, see if I'm right. Is price going to go up? Yep. I'm seeing bearish divergence or bullish divergence, and I just do that for a whole night and go, wow, okay, the way I see divergence appears to be correct. And it's not always going to be correct, but that's the way you do that. It's like the way Rick does paper trades on the YouTube. Try some things out, see if it's working. Test it.
And that brings up a good question, Rick. When are you going to start to do non-paper trading? When are you going to come on back in?
Good question. Like when am I going to put my money where my mouth is?
That's right.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. So with the paper trading thing, it's not so much about the content of what I'm showing. It's more so teaching people that you can go and back test things. Like you can look at an indicator, see how it behaves. You don't have to back it with money just to learn an indicator, you know what I mean? Like you can test it out just on TradingView and just follow its behaviors and see if it pans out. And if it's something that's like, performing well, then that's when you can start backing it with, money.
Scared money don't make money, Rick.
Yeah, well.
But you know what? Scared money doesn't. Money. Exactly. No, and that's why I'm just seeing the last couple weeks as an accumulation phase. I'm going to set buy limits down low, and if they hit, great. But I'm not. When we're a little more bullish, I might enter some trades that have some risk. But when you're not. Anytime you can not enter a trade, then you're not entering risk. And if you can just set a buy limit that if it hits and improves your position, you have not increased your risk and you have just improved your position.
Yeah. Guys. And there's also times where you can pick when to be ruthless and when to be really aggressive with your trading. And then there's times that it's okay to be conservative and cautious as well. Like that comes with experience as well.
When you see RSI moving from the middle to the top, middle to the top, middle to the top, you have that risk of it going to the bottom.
Sure.
And that's why I've been. I mean, I'll say it honestly. I've been afraid of entering, shorter term trades right now because when we get the RSI the way it's been, where it's not just going top to bottom, it's kind of all over the middle of the road.
Not to mention,
it can go either way.
Yeah, Bitcoin's not on a strong trend right now, like on the macro scale. It's ranging. It's been ranging for like a month now at least. So the picture's not all as clear as it can be. Like it can be a lot clearer, and which makes trading easier, right? And so I think it's okay. I've got all the time in the world to trade. I'm not rushing.
It's kind of weird that we as a society kind of look for that instant gratification, right? So when you just mention a month, I'm thinking like, wow, like stock trading, right? For Apple to go, 3x, you're talking like 20 years, right? Or something like that. So we get so ready for this. I need this fix. And, that's kind of what I'm starting to see a trend lately.
Yeah.
Look at the charts that Free Charles just put out in front of us. He's trading on leverage. Rick, you've traded leverage, as do I. Look at what his stop losses are compared to his take profits. He's doing what I learned to do when you lose money. Once you trade leverage, you get out early. If it isn't working, run away. These percentages are minimal on the back up, and it seems scary. Like that's beautiful. That's why I was so excited. The P&L the risk to reward is amazing.
Yeah. And it's something like if you're just starting out with leverage or margin trading, you ease into it. Like you don't go balls to the wall from day one. Like it's something you gotta put your training wheels on first, so to speak. Like
And
start off 3x and use a small amount of money
and
just
set
practice.
set stop losses and don't move them. Like
Yeah, that's right. It's stick to a strategy. Traders don't measure success by how much profit they make in a trade. They measure success in how well they stuck to their plan. Did they execute their plan? If they made a loss but they stuck to their plan, that's a good trade still. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because they stuck to their guns, and you don't deviate that. That is your edge on the market. You sticking to a plan and executing it over many times over a long time frame. So it's kind of like a casino. Like if someone hits the jackpot on a poker machine, the casino doesn't freak out and change its strategy. Like it just goes, okay, yeah, we can accommodate a couple of people winning here and there, but we know that we've got the long-term edge on our customers, right? So it's the same as trading. You have to think like a casino sort of thing.
Yep, and Rick, when you say that's exactly what I've been doing. My first buy limit at Doge was at 25, and then 21, and then 16, and my next one's lower. And I've been I'm still in profit right now from when 16 hit. My average is 19, and I could scalp that and sell it, but I'm like, nope, I'm looking for a long-term trade, and I'm sticking to my plan. Like, could I make profit? And when it just came back down to 20 cents, I could have started buying back in there, but it could have also taken off and gone to 30 cents. And when I sold for profit, I could have been standing here with a mostly empty bag. So I understand that point of sticking to your plan. And that's where the difference, it's a difference in how you're trading. Are you a scalper? Are you going for a long-term trade? What are you doing? And what are your goals? What is your measure of success? Everyone's like, oh, I just sold and I made 10%. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, where did you start? 3 years ago? Or?
Yeah. And
context is everything, definitely. Yeah.
And I feel like it comes off condescending. If you're in a swing trade and you're like, oh, you just sold at 5%, and I'm at 30%, and I'm willing to go back down to negative 10% for the trade I'm in. But that's the thing; it's a matter of your plan. So everyone's got to realize your plan is your plan. If you go into a trade and say, I want to get out at 3%, and you get out at 3%, then that was a success.
I've been doing that with Tesla, to be honest with you. It seems like it comes down to like the early 600s. You pick it up, you wait for like a month or two, it goes to the high 600s, you flip it, you wait for some FUD to come out, and then it goes back down to low, high 500s or whatever, and it's the same concept. Rick, do you have two Discord logos? I see one that's like a clean shaven guy, which is Rick 2, and then I see like a thuggish type of beard on the Rick 1. Is that like your bear and your bull personalities, or? Yes, I'm not.
Rick, Rick, we can't hear you.
He's got two different Discords going, like two icons for him.
One's on his phone for his Discord, and the other one's on his computer.
Got it. It's like night and day on the icons.
Here we go. So free trial, are you setting up another good example?
Yeah, well, if you didn't want to ride that all the way up after you saw the dippity do, come back up, make a double top on RSI but lower high on price action, that's bearish continuation. That means that thing's macro, or at least for the trade period, you're probably looking to come back a little further towards your entry point. So if you see that, you can be like, oh, wait a second, yeah, I'm gonna take profits, and then you get you get your 22.80% spot on 45-to-1 risk to reward ratio play, or you could have taken it out on that top or whatever if you're feeling like taking another short play right there. But I'm talking about long plays, specifically only long plays for those bulls. So it's like find your ABCs, your downtrend, uptrend, uptrend, or downtrend, uptrend, downtrends. Look at your RSI divergences. Try to spot the lowest on the price action before the actual reversal and the actual price action happens. So you set your play up, ABC, downtrend. Oh, that's not so strong because the A is so high up there. So even if you waited for that A, yeah, you would have had to wait. So then what happened? So we didn't even get to our play yet. So we make another downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. Bam! Look at that A. Look at that A, man. That play right there. If you had a 1 to 29 or you had a 1.29% stop loss, which is high for me, like you wouldn't have even gotten stopped out. You would have just rode it all the way up, and you have a 114-to-1 risk to reward ratio play.
Yep. For anyone listening on the YouTube who is like, what the hell is he talking about? Free Trial loves to share his screen and talk about this all night long, all day long. Like, join the Discord. He will teach you, like, no matter how much he needs to slow it down or speed it up, he will teach you this stuff.
Yeah, I'm a super nerd. I can talk about stuff that I'm forever. Like, I'll go on and on and on, and like people will be like, damn, dude, is he still talking?
I tend to give very basic TA in Rick's Discord, but Free Trial and I bounce off of each other, and it's funny because he'll finally go to bed, and then he wakes up and he's like, dude, you're still awake? I'm like, I took a nap while you were talking for like 3 hours, and so we're good. Like, we fill in each other's gaps.
Gotta watch the space, man.
That's it. You guys are like the northern hemisphere shift. I'm like the southern hemisphere. Or,
No, but it's
like
interesting.
time zone.
But it's interesting, Rick, because him and I have like really talked about divergence a lot. It's something we both look at. We see it in totally different ways, and when we've like sat down, shared screens, like we see the same divergence. We identify it in a different way, and divergence is huge. I think that's one of the most important things.
Yeah, and there's also, by the way, there's also times when to ignore it as well. Like during a very strong uptrend, you can get bearish divergence that just gets ignored by the price. You know what I mean? And it'll keep producing divergences as it goes up. And that's usually during a parabolic move. And then, same on the other spectrum. Like you can get bullish divergence in like a bleeding, like bloodshed market, like when it's dipping severely, like when it's crashing, and it can crash through bullish divergence as well. So,
and sideways movement can just absorb a drop or a spike that you think is going to happen.
Especially with Doge.
So like a more naturally flowing, like when the market's just appears to be just trading naturally, like it is now, I would argue. Like there's no strong parabolic trend happening now, like up or down. So it's it's just another day in crypto. That's when your divergences can be a lot more. You can put a lot more faith behind them, I guess. When they mean more. You know what I mean?
Hey Rick, off the topic, news thing just popped up on my phone for an Australian young lady by the name of something Lone. It's a.
Did you get an Australian Amber Alert, and we're concerned it's Rick?
No, the lady's name is Caitlin Lone. She took her life today. She's a TikTok star from Australia. So I don't know
Yeah,
if you saw that note or that news.
I didn't see that, but I'm sure it's gonna make the news here. That's terrible. Tragic.
It's terrible.
I hate hearing that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a weird time that the whole world's going through a very bizarre kind of time at the moment. And yeah, it's very sad.
It is a very weird time. I just moved different
Mhm.
state in the US, and like everything's opening up, but I don't know anyone here, so I'm still kind of in personal lockdown mode. And it's
Yeah.
I've just gotten so used to it that it's not, I'm like, oh, I can go out now.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. And that's why these Discord groups are pretty cool as well. Like, not just the crypto thing. I mean, crypto's fabulous and fantastic in its own right, but the sense of like engaging with other people from all across the globe is pretty cool. Like, that's, yeah, community feeling, right? Because there's probably a lot of people that don't get that connection with other people and they feel isolated, and, it gets pretty sad, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say a good example would be Static.
Oh yeah, as an example
Our
of
good
what?
old friend Static. Yeah, I think he had some
Mhm.
isolation problems and turned to drinking and stuff like that on a lot of those
Oh,
nights. Yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
vicious. Yep.
That's not good. Yeah. And like I said before, like I don't have any enemies. Like I don't dislike anyone in the community so far that I've come across. Like, the only people that sort of I roll my eyes at are the obvious, like the troll type people or people that are combative and aggressive toward other people. Like it's just like, you don't need to be like that to get value. Anyway, digressing. But yeah, no,
yes,
I hopped into Static's Discord the other day, and that was cool. We just sort of went over what we thought about Bitcoin and Doge and where things were headed, and yeah, pretty much on the same page for the most part. Yeah.
Static's TA is amazing, but I think the only thing is he never explains that he is talking about swing trades and long-term trades. So everyone's like,
see.
oh, it's going to go down. It's like, no, there's going to be a lot of movement between what Static is talking about and where we are now. And he
Yeah, yeah.
doesn't do a good job of explaining that. I understand it.
Context?
So it's,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I understand it. So it doesn't scare me. But
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
talks about like, oh, Doge is going to go to 8 cents, you're like, oh my God, what are you talking about? Like, you're crazy.
Yeah,
And it's
makes
like,
it sound like it's happening tomorrow. Yeah.
yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he could give a little more context, but at the same time, if
Mhm.
you watch it enough,
Mhm.
I watched Rick. I think you had him on, or maybe I was on his Discord, and he was going through
Mhm.
like multiple coins, but he
Well,
does the same thing. He's talking
yeah.
about from a daily candle level, and when you're talking about that, he's not talking to scalpers at all.
No, exactly.
He's talking to swing traders, but he doesn't give that disclaimer out front, so it scares people.
One thing that I had to get used to with Static back when he was in Tame's Discord was I'd be like doing TA, and then he would at that point he wasn't sharing his screen. He would just do his TA through other people, like tell them what to pull up, and instead of like him telling his point, he would try and ask everyone, what do you see there? And like try to get the answer out of people that are doing their TA or whatever. And I'd be almost lost at some of the points that he was trying to make because he wouldn't tell it straight off the bat. He'd be like, what's like, he's like kind of rhetorical in a way, not being like,
Yeah.
But that's cool.
No, and it's interesting because even on his own Discord now, like when he shares a screen, like very clear. The audio is not great. You're like, oh no, like you got to really work to keep up with what he's talking about, and you've got to fill in a lot of context that he leaves out. And if you can fill that in, you're like, oh, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah,
I get
there's
why
definitely skill there.